Okay, so we are at the end of September, and I put this out in June, beginning of June or something. And I made the ebook. The ebook is free. Paperback is not free, but the ebook is free. And so far, thousands of people have downloaded the ebook. So hundreds of people a month are downloading the ebook, and dozens of people have bought the paperback. So I don't know how many people are going to watch these videos, especially with the paperback. It's harder. I know it's harder to. I try to make it. I want to make it easy for people because to find the channel, which is for other books that I'm going to do too. I'm going to do other ones, and this was just kind of like the first one that I did to start this channel. I've done this before several times. I've done it with Facebook. I had Facebook groups, and I ended up stopping doing all that. It's just it was all for my own. It was all for. I wasn't making money doing it, so I couldn't handle it. Well, I could handle it, but I just needed to stop it for a while. This was years ago, but now I'm back doing it again. But I'm gonna do it different. I'm gonna do it so it's less. I don't no weight on my shoulders. Just about what I do, and people can take it or leave it, and find what they can use, and that's great. But I only can do what I can do, and just share what I can do. That's it. So, by the way, if you got any version of this, if you can leave a review, if you're watching this and you got this any version of this, because the majority of people, here's my plan with this. The majority of people I want to be watching this channel aren't going to be from YouTube, because I'm not gonna try to get people from YouTube. I'm trying to get people who buy my books, and then they come over to the channel. And so it's like that. It's not a YouTube channel. And if anybody sees it, people will see it. 'Cause people have seen it, kind of, because it'll be somehow, like they'll see a related video or whatever. But that's not going to be very often, because there's not going to be any money put into this to try to market the channel or anything. So this is going to be very, very small. And people have seen it, so anybody that's seen it, you can go download you can go get the free version. I have links in the description and everywhere probably for the free. And then you can get paperback. It's like that, it's not that much. But if you like the ebook and if you like the ebook, can you give me a review? I'll get on my hands and knees and I'll beg you for a review. And if you want to support what you like, then you can buy the paperback if you want. But you don't have to, and I'm not like that's not the reason to do any of that, because I don't ever do free. And this year I did free for my fiction. I made all my fiction stuff free on the ebook, and then I just decided to write this, and I was like, I don't know, it's a good time to write this. It wasn't like a big plan or anything. Just like, I'll write this and then I'll make it free, because I was just in a free mood this year for some reason, and I'm not the free person. I'm not the person that ethical bribes people to there's no back end. As you can see if you read this, there's no back end in here. The back end is coming to here and listening to me. There's no sale. There's no this doesn't lead to anything. I'm trying to get you to buy anything that's hundreds of dollars or anything, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is it's just, so it's a very stupid marketing plan on my end, which I'm known for doing that. I'm known for my own stuff, doing things that I lose money on, or I have no intention of making money on it. It's like, anyways, but yeah, I'm glad I wrote it, and I'm gonna write more whenever I get the time. I'm actually going to actually I kind of want to, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but if I can, I was actually thinking if I can get people who buy this, I don't know how I'm going to get it to them. I don't know how I'm going to broadcast this out to them, maybe through the ebook, like mails for men. I because some guys, there's some things that I can with for men. Like, this is for everybody. This is for everybody, and I wanted it to be for everybody because we all. It's about the main thing is about unprocessed foods. Unprocessed foods. I've been saying that for almost a decade. I've been and all these diets come through and come in and come out, and man, I'm going this way, and I've been going this way, and I put all that stuff out, and it's about unprocessed foods, and trying to start with eating 100% unprocessed foods. It's not difficult. So yeah, you can get all sciencey and memorize stuff and know all what and studies about this, but that's fine for people who maybe have some type of illnesses that they're dealing with, or they have allergies and those types of things. Yeah, they got they might, but that's a whole different thing. Those people need to be dealing with their doctors and whoever they're whoever's healing them, and they shouldn't be looking. Well, they should be looking everywhere, but they shouldn't. They should know what their needs are. But for general overall health, and even for them, it's still the base of it, the ground floor of it, is trying to eat. Well, not trying to, but just like what our bodies want. Our bodies want non-man-made foods to process the best. Now, you start talking about how much of what every person can eat and what every person can digest and what every person, what every person's needs are, calorie-wise and the macronutrient-wise with the how much protein people need and how much carbs people need and how much fat people. Okay, that varies a little bit. And there's all kinds of different ways of doing it. But when it comes to like micronutrients, most people are micronutrient deficient, and especially if they're eating a lot of processed foods, they're micronutrient deficient. So that's something, that's kind of where people should be starting from, And I didn't get into it with this because it's not that type of thing, and other stuff I want to, but not to where it's so boring and to where it's just like, it's like just me just going on, me. I'm not gonna be writing stuff that I'm just going to be parroting, So it's all gonna be about what I've my trials and errors, a lot of errors. I've done a lot of errors, and actually there's another book I'll probably read some of it in this channel too. So it's a book that I wrote in 2013. I was living when I wrote it. I was living in the back of my sister and her husband. It was like a garage. He had his music room back there and stuff. It was an old garage, but they made it into. So I was living back in there. I didn't have any money. I probably had at any time, I was like, I had $100 in my bank account. I was like that. So I had enough money to put gas in, and I was in between life. I was in between life and death is what I was in between. I had family that I can rely on, but I was in transition. This was like in 2013. When I wrote it early, probably 2013. I don't know. I've lost the track when I kind of like actually the exact time. It was right around then. So, yeah, and it just so much has happened since then. So much. But I was writing that when I was writing all kinds of stuff. I was just writing. I was a writing freak, and writing stuff to eventually became doing what I do, which is what I write. I write things in pen names for my living, and then for my own sanity, I write my own stuff. That way, I can be like, hey, I'm here too. I don't have to sit behind the, I don't have to be behind the curtain and nobody gets to know who I am. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I guess it's a little bit of an attention whore thing, right? But still, I mean, try doing it for years, but still, it's better than doing the only other thing I know how to do in the real world. So that's a long story. But that other book, it's a long story, but it's part of my journey. And at that time, before that, I've always trained. I've been training with weights I've been an athlete since I was a kid. I've been training with weights since I was 10 years old, and really training. I mean, my basics. I mean, some people say I didn't necessarily know what I was doing with training, but I did for a 10-year-old. You know, by the time I was like 12, I was really like, I really knew what I was doing, and you know, I started with basics. So I started somewhat like a bodybuilding, but like a power bodybuilding type of something that, you know, when I got a little older, it's stuff that carries over, you know, into athletics too. But I fortunately, the lifts and stuff that I learned were what I learned from magazines and stuff, and people that I knew who were saying, you know, you bench, you squat, you deadlift, you know, pull-ups, bar dips, those types of things. That's what I was doing. So, and then some little bodybuilding, you know, curls and skull crushers and calves and leg extensions and leg curls and those things, lat pull downs, and you know, I was doing all that stuff because I had my little weight. It had all my weight, you know, one of those old school weight machines that had everything like that. So, you know, I did everything. But so I've been training. But I didn't really necessarily. I've done bodybuilding styles of eating my whole life when I was, you know, reading in the magazines, and not that that's all horrible, because if it's unprocessed, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not too bad. It is better, but there's not the worst thing in the world. But I've eaten all kinds of different ways. I've eaten horrible. I've eaten junk food. I've eaten all kinds of stuff. I didn't know anything about actual nutrition until I started getting in my 30s. And luckily, I'll get into some other stuff later, but luckily I have decent genetics to where, you know, certain things that I'm not allergic to foods. I'm not like disease prone, luckily, knock on wood. And so, but I've let myself get in some bad times. So at that time, that was a major transition period for me. 2011, 12, 13. I was in my 30s. I was trying not. I was like having these issues within my own head about eating meat and animals. It's for the animals, not for health, and all that stuff is going on. Plus, you know, financial. I mean, I didn't have anything financially going on. I don't want to get into that, but I mean, basically, I didn't have anything financially going on. Which is what I was used to. That's what I was used to my whole life. So I started, you know, I was already trying to find what I've really, what I am right now. I was trying to find that in nutrition. So I was just learning and taking from all sides, taking from every side and every angle, finding what works for me, finding what doesn't. I was open to everything, but I was also trying to not eat meat too, and I was weaning that out of my life. So, yeah. So when I wrote that, it's called Healthy Eating on a Budget. I wrote that. That's what I was trying to do. I wrote it about what I was trying to do, and I I was working too. I was working on the. I still have the computer too. The junky computer I bought, and I was self-publishing and trying to figure it all out on my own at the time, and just keeping my head down on a computer, typing all day, all night, all day, all night, all day, all night, and I was writing that when I was writing all kinds of other stuff, but it's part, man, when I need to look at it, because a lot of that stuff is the same stuff that's in here. So I mean, it's not all the same, but a lot of it is, and also a lot of the way I was eating is still not. It's not a bad way to eat. You know, my whole focus was on unprocessed foods, and now, you know, that was, how many years ago was that? 5-6 years ago. So before that, it was, you know, a couple years before that, I was like, I knew what my base was. My base was, okay, what would it be like to eat 100% unprocessed foods? Now, and, you know, deciding what you eat is a whole different, that's another thing, but let's just start there. 100% unprocessed foods. So I could eat the same, you know, if I say I love blueberries, I say I eat nothing but blueberries, right? I even talked about that before in some books. I don't know what books I wrote. I was talking about the blueberry. You know, like what foods you could, if you only have one food to pick, what would you eat? You know? At the time, I came up with blueberries. Now, I don't know. I could change it maybe to watermelon. I could change that. Blueberries is a good one though. Like, there's only one food, and you're gonna die if you only have one food. I'm not saying you, but what can you live longer on? So, anyways, my time's up here. I'm gonna do another video.